All right, hey guys, music here. Sorry for the small delay once again. I was having Twitch trouble, so I had to resort to Google Hangouts on air. I'll try to figure out what's going on tomorrow with Twitch, but for now, we're just gonna use YouTube. But yeah, as I previously announced, I'm going to be hosting the rest of these tournaments. I'll catch back up with the Mario Maker one in a little bit after they go offline. Yeah. So for now, the right now hosting the Splatoon 2 World Championship. Which is pretty awesome in my opinion.
Get in front of the objective. We're going to talk about that in every single mode. You have to play in front of it. If you sit by where the objective is, that's where everyone's looking, and they're not going to be able to use the advantage of where the eyes are.
What was cool is we heard the round of applause said we're going to go ahead and restart this game, and that really speaks to the community, Ashley. Just a very welcoming community for such a competitive game that it continues to grow. They've really opened up their tentacles for everybody and welcomed them in.
It is 100% true. I have played a lot of shooters in my time as an old woman, but this community is so joyous. They are so much fun. They are so welcoming. Top level players are like, just come talk to us. We'll give you tips. We'll help you. We want you to beat us. Like that's how wonderful and strong the foundation of the Splatoon 2 community is.
We'll get started here in a couple minutes as we continue to figure out all the technical issues. We want to make sure everybody's good and locked in and ready to go for these semifinals. So much at stake here in 9. Listen, you're the darling of the Splatoon community on the cover of the Splatoon Tiger Beat magazine and all the cereal boxes.
Yeah.
That's a reference. Speak a little bit more about how it's grown so much over the last couple of years and how Splatoon 2 has made this game so accessible for so many people.
Well, I think it ties into this exact tournament, actually. I think when we had that very first E3 championships back in 2017, people saw what teams could become. They saw that you could get sponsored. They saw that you could be even better at this game. That pushed everybody up, and that made more people interested in the game. It's no secret that I do love this community. It's done a lot for me. It's helped me reach heights that I never thought I could, but it all starts with love of the game. This game is so addicting. If you pick it up, you will not be able to put it down.
It's so easy to love. That's the thing I like about it. It's like you're in there, you meet Pearl and Marina, and you're just like, I love these squids. I love them.
We had a chance to hear from the GG boys representing Team Japan, have their counterparts from Australia, and Soda representing Australia.
I'm good.
Yoshiko?
Chocolate.
Trent. Yeah. Then we are
Lime Soda.
Hey, Lime Soda. Nice to meet you.
Support that you guys give us each and every single day, and it's really lovely waking up to see all the support you guys give us. It really does motivate us to do our best and put a smile on our face.
I love the emotion from Lime Soda when you see that the fact that they qualified, and we've been talking to them all week and how excited they are to be here, but they're not wide-eyed. The stage isn't too big for them. They feel like they can come to mixed race.
Their plan was house money. They know that if they just go out and execute it, they have the right weapons, right? Everything that they play is what we would consider to be meta. They're here to have fun and compete. It's the same game. The stage is just a little different.
And also, they're the upset kings of this tournament. I mean, they came back from an 0-4 deficit to win 5-4 in their qualifier. So anything could happen. I'm excited to watch them play. I absolutely love that they are a really great representation of the meta and also just really good, cool people to hang out with, like last couple days.
You see Lime Soda right there bubbling up some conversation with themselves as they get set for tower control. Maybe a different strategy. Let's go ahead and run this thing back, y'all. Tower control on the read. You've got the GG boys of Japan in the purple, and then in that green, you've got Lime Soda and 9 a little bit more. It looks like we're seeing the same composition come out again.
Yeah, and I part of the rule set as well to make sure that nobody can tactically DC as we would. We're going to see the same strategy. Another 12 seconds, but this time Bill gets a nice hit here. So instead of going down immediately, they know, okay, we can't do that again, and they're actually on the upswing this time.
4-3 victory advantage momentarily on the map for Lime Soda. That tower hasn't moved at all, so Lime Soda showing that they can be quite the formidable foe. Early on, here comes Taiji with an inkjet trying to apply some pressure. Nobody yet climbing on that tower, and Ashley, we've all seen say, we're not going to grab that tower until we have an advantage on the field.
Sometimes you want to wait to get on the tower. I know whenever I play, I get really excited. I want to jump right on there, but the real strategy here is knowing when to get off the tower and when to get back off. So they're all going to wait until there is an advantage and the right person can get on that tower.
Nice little trade right there as Yamamichi rides the tower to the first checkpoint. You see 3-2 on the map and a couple of specials ready to go for the GG boys.
And you saw immediately they moved up and forced the double team on Will that caused that follow to be probably a little earlier than Will wanted to. And now we're going to get to see again this snowball start to go up. Yoshiko is positioned very well, but needs to hit a snipe.
Oh, and just like the band, predestined, speaking into life here,
Nine's for Dom.
Lime Soda. It's 4-4. That tower really just passed the first checkpoint. That's saved by TV map tonight. You also lost 30 left. Plenty of time here after. They're doing a good job of defending and not breaking.
They're doing a great job of neutralizing players. This is what they have to do. They have to make sure taking out their opponents that they don't get these specials, because Yamamichi with that Stingray is very dangerous.
Here comes Enough jumping into action here, 9. And what are we seeing from the GG boys?
We saw an some all-two specials there. Dynamo kept himself on the tower with his ballers. Then they used their Stingray. Once the counter Stingray came out, they had an inkjet ready to press back. That's why this push is still going as they approach that check.
John being very careful to stay screen to drop the hammer on the Yamamichi and the GG boys. However, GG boys are clear to second checkpoint. Besides full 32 to 100 lead, Will trying to avoid some pressure, get on the tower. Let's see if Lime Soda can get on the board here. 2:30 left, plenty of time, but they face yet another deficit, actually down 4-3 on the map.
It'll be really interesting to see what Will does next. He takes out Otona and ends up going 1-for-1. It's a trade. This is going to be really close. I think in the way of, I don't know what's going to happen here.
GG boys getting closer and closer to the final checkpoint. Yamamichi, Stingray here all afternoon long. A little Stingray on Stingray action. Nobody getting stunned right there. Dynamite using that baller, however, getting.
Oh, this is going to be close, guys.
With the baller on the tower sometimes, 9.
It is, but you saw that Taiji was up there holding that position. And to talk about those counter Stingrays that just happened, if you are on defense and you use that, that oftentimes swings the game for you. Yoshiko needs to hit another snipe here. I couldn't speak it into existence this time.
Final checkpoint cleared. It looks like the GG boys are going to have no problem getting this victory, and they do. Took a little bit more effort.
Nice.
Time, though.
Way to go, GGs.
Australia, New Zealand, they were able to be somewhat equal in the beginning, but it was just that constant onslaught by the
All right,
GG
tell you
boys.
what, guys. As
You know
soon as
that-
this Splatoon
that
2 turns
combo
over, I will switch over to the
and then you got
GGs.
Taiji with the inkjet
Is real
is
quick,
just so hard
and
to
we
overcome
will
on tower control. It's a
look,
really good strategy.
watch the
Really
Super
works,
Smash Brothers.
And they wrote
You
it
never
so
know,
well.
there could potentially be some, be a
Yamamichi and
DLC
Stingray.
drop.
That
highly doubt it,
Stingray, such a powerful,
but we'll see.
valuable special for the GG boys.
Let's check the stats. It has infinite range. It goes through walls, and you can see where the opponent is. So all 3 of those things are very important. But more than anything, 2 of the modes that we'll be playing today, Tower Control and Rainmaker, have a centralized objective. You can see where it is at all times. And on the checkpoints there, you saw they were opting to save their Stingrays for that time because nobody can run. If they get off the tower, the checkpoint resets.
We just got done with tower control. You saw the strategy there. We'll get set for our next ranked mode match between the GG boys of Japan and Lime Soda of Team Australia, New Zealand. And it seems like for Team Australia, New Zealand, Lime Soda, they had to just make sure that they can continue to get somewhat of a push against the GG boys. We never saw that in that last match, Ashley.
Yeah, sometimes when any team plays against the GG boys, it's really tough to get a hold of how aggressive they can be, especially when they really get out in front and they start keeping you away from a central objective. And I think that's going to be the hardest thing for them to do, but it is the thing they must do if they want a chance of coming back.
Let's go ahead and take a look at our next ranked mode that these 2 teams will partake in here. We just got done with tower control. The GG boys getting the first victory in this best of 5. Up next, good old clam blitz here, 9, and a lot of fun strategy with this one. You hear an emotional response from our crowd here at the Theater and Ace Hotel, and what's going to take with clam blitz this time?
First of all, wipe that smirk off your face. Secondly, there's a lot that goes into Clan Blitz. It's the newest mode, and it's probably the most difficult to really get a grasp on. This is probably the mode just controlling the map is the most important part of it. And we've seen a lot of developments in this mode since the last time that we were on this stage.
Yeah, by the way, guys, speaking of Super Smash Brothers, Nintendo had a special hashtag for the tournament.
Throw it into the basket. We'll see if these teams can show you how it's played. Clan Blitz,
So that sounds suspicious if you ask me, gang. And I mean, I could totally see Nintendo doing something like that, but really? Just for that tournament? I'm sensing a drop, a big one.
Can't form those power clans, and let's see if they follow that strategy early on. And what do you like about Arowana Mall?
Well, it's a very Stingray dominant map. Some people like it for that reason, some people don't. But that's why, again, the GG continue to bring two backliners here. They know that they can control the way the map is going, and that rate right there where you see the Tenterella set up shop is going to be the point of contention. I love the fact that Yoshiko is here, and this Taiji baller actually is going to get them through. They need to grab that claim again, though.
Taiji dancing around the ink, two big-time splash, looking to form the completion.
Huh?
He got three.
Oh, wow. I haven't been keeping up, guys. Okay, so I have my tweet deck up so I can keep track of all the news that's dropping while we're watching the tournament and all the other press conferences. And I have placed it up out. Apparently, there is there's some new PlayStation Party features coming. Didn't I hear this? All right, I'm gonna take a look at this guys for you and see what they say.
Scored by the GG Boys. You see that 13-point penalty, and actually, you can also see the number of clams each team has by that small number underneath their 4 icons. And right now, neither team with a lot of clams. How do you see Lime Soda trying to get back into this one?
Well, they're starting to climb up little by little, but what's going to need to happen is they're going to have to put down some ink here because this map is covered in a lot of orange, and they're also going to have to stay away from Yamabichi's Stingray.
Yamabichi once again with that Stingray applying pressure from the back line. Taiji using that baller, lose the clams, and you deploy that baller as well too. Middle of the map controlled right now by the GG Boys. They've got another power plant. How about that? Hiding in the bubbles, 9.
There were bubbles everywhere there. That was a very tense moment, and Edna able to sniff through there. They know Edna's still there. They do.
Okay. Hang on a second, guys. I'm a little registered for this. It seems interesting.
And that's going to mean that the penalty is still there. Now, that power play that we talked about scored 20 points. This is actually still a very close game.
Lime Soda not out of it at all. As you said, one power clan followed by some smaller ones in the basket. They are right back in this thing. They've got a 4-3 advantage on the field, but let's see if they can finally get a push this match. It seems like they can't get past that second half of the match here, Ashley.
I would say the reason why is those Tenterellas right there that you can see flying by. They're all over the place. I love that there's dueling Tenterellas. This is it makes it really tough. You can't get by there, and so you get knocked off the crate. You have to start over. You have to find a different way. You got to flank.
Taiji and the
Okay, sign up for the beta. Let's see if I get chosen, guys. I'll let you know if I hear anything. I don't want to say what it is because obviously it's party, but we'll see what happens. Let's see if I missed anything else while we were gone.
Just under 2 minutes left before on the map. GG Boys with a 33-point advantage. However, you see the penalty. Lime Soda not out of it by a long shot. Edna going to go ahead and super jump back for defensive purposes. Dynamon trying to apply some pressure with that Explosher. 1:43 left, and right now the match has gotten to a bit of a stalemate here, 9.
It has, and the way that GG Boys is playing right now means that Lime Soda actually can't build up any clans. You see they're shuffling a few around back here. They know that there's not much time, so they're trying to make the score that they do get here a big one. But because GG Boys continues to hold the map, there's not even a chance for them to build it.
Oh, the barrier is broken, though. The GG Boys have a chance to add to their lead. They're adding clams by the bushel at this point. 36 to 100. You see the timer in the middle. That gives them that much more time to fill the basket up. And they get one more clam in there. Doesn't look like they. Oh, they do.
Oh, they do.
And here comes more pressure, riding the shield of those bubbles, trying to pop the hopes of Lime Soda. 1 minute left. 91-point advantage for the GG Boys. Now is when it gets difficult for London to have a comeback 9. That is the game. GG Boys filling the basket. They take a 2-0 lead, and once again, it was the special and the push by the GG Boys. But how about that strategy we saw there, Ashley? Hiding in the bubbles for some protection to get closer to the basket.
It's a great strategy. It's a great way because it's going to take a lot of ink to get those bubbles to shrink down enough to be able to get your opponent. So, yeah, that's a great strategy. Hide in there as long as you can, stay in the bubbles, and then get right under that basket. And as soon as the bubbles either go away or pop, you're going to go.
First two victories go to the GG boys. One more, they will have the sweep in the semifinals and find themselves in the finals. Let's take a look at the next upcoming ranked mode, and we've got splat zones, and this is the one that a lot of competitive players love. Splat zones. Tell me a little bit more about the strategy here, because it's a little bit of turf war. However, there are some things that change here.
There are. I think the easiest way to describe it is something of a king of the hill, right? There's going to be a zone, sometimes two smaller zones, that you have to take. That is going to bring down your timer. You want your timer to either be lower than the opponent's when the time runs out, or run all the way to zero. And competitive players love it because of how consistent it tends to be.
And you mentioned consistency. Ashley, we've had the conversation before. A lot of these modes, you can mount a comeback. Splat zones, very difficult to come back. What are some things you need to keep in mind once you secure the zone if you want to make sure you protect your victory?
Securing the zone is one thing. Making sure you're not getting penalized and when it gets taken back is another thing. So really, really doing a good job of pushing forward, making sure, again, you're keeping your opponent from either that central objective in the splat zone or both splat zones. You really have to have good defense when there's two.
Let's go shopping at Mango Mart here. Don't forget to grab some milk, splat zones, and this is only one splat zone on this map here, Nine, so a lot of the action is going to be very concentrated.
It is. And taking a look right now, immediately, you see a double L3 nozzle nose. That's going to mean two ballers and a third one being added in by Dynamon there. If all three of those go in the zone, they're going to take it in the blink of an eye.
You see Lime Soda and the orange and the GG Boys of Japan and the purple GG Boys already securing the zone. And one thing they talked about, Nine, is that they're not going to push too far once they get the zone. They want to make sure that they aren't too aggressive and give themselves the opportunity to be stuck from behind, flanked from behind to lose the zone.
And they're especially going to try to build their baller. You see that they already have a Stingray at the ready that's going to immediately target Yoshiko, who is willing to trade a one-for-one there. I like that because it allowed them to take the zone and apply a penalty.
Huge recovery there by Lime Soda. You see the 36-second penalty for the GG Boys. That'll buy fresh second for Lime Soda. 4-3 on the map, and actually a chance for Lime Soda to finally make a push with the advantage.
That was a huge take back because once you can apply that penalty, it becomes there's a little less pressure, and I think that that's really helpful for them in this moment.
You see the splat. We've got a spill on Isle splat zone right there, 9, and Edson on tie to G. You mentioned the double L3 composition. They're going to go and try and put a lot of pressure on Lime Soda at this point.
And you can see they have two ballers at the ready, so they're not going to have any trouble at all doing that. Edson is going to run in, pop the ball, and there's another one that they can use. Trapped in the corner. Edson goes for three. Why not? Horsewood sitting up in spawn, and this is getting ugly.
Edson putting on an absolute clinic, finally able to get slowed down, but it might be too little too late. GG Boys just a few seconds away from claiming this third victory, and that'll do it. GG Boys with a clean sweep in the semifinals, and last year's defending champions having no issue whatsoever through those three ranked modes. And what we saw early, Ashley, they controlled the zone and they were able to apply some pressure in spawn.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only were they able to do that, they were able to do that with completely cool heads, as if this is just something that they do in their sleep, which pretty much it is.
Well, let's go ahead and give a round of applause to Lime Soda. They put up some great battles. We certainly appreciate them coming all the way here from Australia, New Zealand to give us a show. I'm sure we will see many of them later. What a great opportunity, great experience for them. But Nine, it's very tough for going against the defending champions.
It is. They're the champions for the reason, as they give a little fist bump right there. They know that their goal is still a little ways away.
Let's take a look at the updated bracket here as we have our first ticket to the finals punched here by the GG Boys. They get the 3-0 sweep in semifinals. They will take on the winner of FT and Alliance Broken. As you said earlier, this match between North America and Europe that we're about to see in the semifinal, this is one that you really want to keep an eye on because these are two teams that are really dominant in their regions and have really taken the crown in their respective countries, and now they have a chance for an opportunity to knock off champions here soon.
And more than that, they are very familiar with each other. Earlier, Milano was talking about Kraken Paradise and Team Olive, the two teams that kind of formed this. Those two teams, along with FT Win, have been battling at the top of the European North American leagues for ages right now. They know the tricks that each other are going to do.
And obviously, you're well aware with each player, with each team for the most part, but actually, the stage is different. You know, it's different when you're playing online versus live on the stage in front of this crowd, in front of this audience with this Splatoon Sterling Squid up for grabs.
It's different just casting on the by yourself. So being in front of this amazing crowd, they're hyped, they're ready to go. Like they are super excited to see these teams face off. Obviously, FT Win is the hometown team. We got North America here, but at the end of the day, anything can happen. Like Nine said, these teams have faced off against each other many, many times, just playing Splatoon. So it'll be interesting to see how all of them react.
And Nine, we were talking earlier in the week, and you said FT Win. When they are at their best, it is hard to find anybody better than them. It's just a matter of to be consistent enough in this tournament to be able to match the consistency we've seen from, say, the GG boys.
And they have been hiding their scrims for short. They have been hiding the results of those because they don't want anyone knowing what tricks they are. I was trying to talk a little bit with them. These are my friends. They're like, sorry, no, we can't tell you anything.
Yeah, no friends
None.
during
No
this
friends.
week here.
No friends.
Well, we mentioned FT Win representing North America. Let's take a closer look at the four that comprise this squad.
I am Shaq, 2B, Keo, Ice.
Yeah, definitely.
V to win. My single piece of advice would be to understand that getting the most amount of splats in a game does not necessarily mean that you played perfectly or you did everything properly. There's always more to learn. Just because you get the most amount of splats doesn't mean that you played the game.
FT Win right there, getting a chance to them a little bit better. Nine, they were talking about some strategy for some folks that are maybe just new to Splatoon 2. And he said sometimes it's not all about the splats.
Right. There's so many things that go into playing a good game, and sometimes just being a Brella on the tower and not leaving the tower can be the difference between getting a win or a loss. Sometimes it's holding the position. There's just too much to boil it down to a single number.
Saw a lot of Stingray with the specials. Baller has been very popular as well, too. And it seems like regardless of the rank mode that we're playing, that Baller provides a lot of benefits, Ashley.
It's a great way to give cover not only to yourself if you're in a bit of a pinch, but it's also a really great way to give cover to a teammate. If you end up getting, double team, you got two squids coming at you. Baller's a great way to get them to go away.
Oh, it's Best Friends
It's a
Day.
really nice way to sort of, it's a little bit of a defense mechanism.
I think
but
when I
also a
tune
really
over
great
to
defense
switch over to the
mechanism
Go
as well.
Gamers
So it's a
channel to
fantastic
do the
special,
Smash
and there's-
tournament,
It's no wonder
I'll
they use the last-
definitely look into
Action
into
into
Splatoon.
Provide that
Uh,
temporary invulnerability.
definitely give some shout outs to Best
Stand
Friends.
far away from the action, apply pressure. It seems like there's a defensive component to some of these.
There's a defensive component, and there's also spatial control, which is something that, of course, Stingray that it can reach everywhere on the map does. When you have a baller, it forces the opponents to move away. And even if you don't explode and get a splat, it means that your teammates can move up as well. And spatial control really is the next level of being a good Splatoon player.
Yeah, it's that combination of turf coverage because that baller explodes, but then also scattering everybody because Ashley, these high-level teams, a lot of their success is based upon being able to establish certain parts of a map. And when you have to scurry away because of a baller, it can really disrupt your strategy.
Yeah, disrupt is exactly the right word. I mean, disrupting a team's rhythm, what they are most comfortable with, is going to be a great way to knock them off their feet and potentially take a win.
As we get set, we've got tower control on the reef once again here. FT Win from North America taking on Alliance Rogue from Europe. You've got
Ooh, this should be interesting. Okay. Take a break from looking at Twitter. Take a look at this.
I want everybody to keep an eye on two players in particular.
Oh, it's from North America. Okay, I got it. For my country. Go left, go left, go left, go left. Sorry, just want to watch it.
Pensa undercover umbrella. That's a mouthful.
And that ink armor, once again, defensive capabilities coming from a special alliance.
But yeah, guys, I think it's suspiciously suspicious that Nintendo would make a Super Smash Bros. Hashtag
Right now, you've got a
just for the Smash tournament, and not doing it for Mario Maker or Splatoon. Doesn't that doesn't look that looks me the wrong way. Feel like an announcement during that tournament is inevitable. So I'll switch over to the GG after this one, and then hopefully I'll switch to working tomorrow.
They scared me just a little bit. Rogue Alliance was like, I think I'm going to jump back to base. A couple of our players have gone down, and now we got a Stingray out.
Well, once again, that spatial control, Nine Ice able to dislodge and disrupt the Stingray for Alliance Pro.
It is. And sometimes, like you said, that's just enough because when you're using that Stingray, you're doing it to take a couple people down and build a lead for your team. Give yourself a little counter spray, not to allow that to happen.
Team Win now taking the lead. They're at the first checkpoint. However, they get dislodged. They're back on the tower. Oh, almost about to clear that checkpoint by Kibber with a nice double splat.
And that's going to disrupt it entirely. That's going to be the end of it. They're taking down before it even
get started. And that's huge. We've talked about with the checkpoints. You want to make sure you clear them. If not, you're just leaving yourself more homework after school when you get back to that checkpoint. And we know how balanced these teams are, actually. We're a minute and a half in. Neither team has cleared the first checkpoint.
Not at all. And that is a real testament to how good these teams are, how much they've played against each other. They know their strategies. They know what's going on. That might be a really critical Stingray splat right there.
4-2 on the field for a moment for FT when they did a nice job stopping the advance into the line throw. Now let's see if they can move their score. How about Ice slipping and sliding out of the way of those splats? Does a nice job soaring trying to get the tower. But here comes some Tenta missiles once again to disrupt that back line. And you know that's a thing that we haven't talked about yet. One of the reasons why the Tenta missiles have become so strong, everyone for the longest time was focused on Stingray v Stingray. The Tenta missiles do it with much less commitment. The Stingrays from Soren have been completely inconsequential so far. It's such a good point. Soren can't be comfortable at that point. And FT win getting to the second checkpoint. They're trying to clear it. This is one of the ones in the stage here that you're looking, as you mentioned, Ashley. That's the critical one in this map if you want to give yourself somewhat of a safe lead.
Absolutely. Now you can see there's a couple of double lines jumping that space. They want to get out of the way of that Stingray.
T-Win trying to close the door. Kimmer trying to get off the tower. Somehow, the ink is going everywhere with the super.
Wow.
Surviving that storm at the end right there, 9. Joe had jumped onto the tower with a splashdown. He said, there are vulnerability frames as I come down. We are knocking this out no matter what happens. But their ability to press forward and use their specials. We say it so much, but you almost can't say it enough. Coordinating your specials in time with the push makes it very difficult for your opponent to slow it down.
It really does. It's a thing there. If you can do that with your team, if you can communicate and say, okay, you use your Tenta missiles, keep that Stingray away. Now let's use Baller. Now let's use Splashdown. I mean, if you can do that all coordinated and all together, it's especially at the end for that very last race to the finish. It's beautiful.
That's what we love about competitive Splatoon. You have those moments like we saw at the end, just pure chaos, but these players are so good at remaining calm through all that ink flying left and right for the most part. Let's take a closer look at a replay from that last match. One of those exciting moments, our instant replay. 2:24 left, and keep an eye on the tower. It's moving right now. Ice moves it, but look at all the action that's going to happen. Walk us through it here, 9.
So you see, of course, they have one person as their designated tower rider, but you see that Shaq was by it as well, meaning that they were going to have at least some pressure there. He pops back off, but they were able to get 2 people. And as the GG boys said, they want to play around the tower. And that's exactly what they did, positioning to take out anybody who's trying to stop it.
And the splashdown at the end, you have to love it. So FT win, winning a tightly contested match. They were finally able to break the levy in that one and get some momentum. But you saw how close these teams were because that tower wasn't moving much early on, Ashley.
Not at all. It was very, very close for a really long time. But I think a couple of splats, they were very key to enable FT Win to finally start making some progress and get through those first couple of checkpoints.
Well, let's take a look at our upcoming ranked modes that we will be seeing. We just saw Tower Control. We'll have Clam Blitz coming up here next. And looking at Clam Blitz once again, that strategy. We saw the bubble protection.
For those who, hey, sorry I don't have chat up at the moment. It's Music Clues. Again, I apologize. I'm going to be switching over to the GGs. Please go again, that's for those who don't know what that means. Real quick, so we can all watch the Super Smash Brothers tournament together. Because, one, there has to be something out there. There has to be. Nintendo would not just make a hashtag just for the tournament. They're dropping something, and it has to be there.
As well too, Ashley. So we saw that a lot of 1v1 situations are very important. We saw that from Tai G from the GG boys. You figure it'll be just as vital this time around.
Very much so, and I think we'll see more umbrellas, especially like you said with that tight corridor.
Not to mention,
umbrella really comes in handy.
One thing I know.
Opponent backwards. Keep them
Sorry, just
off,
talking to myself.
I
do that a lot.
Take them down. But yeah, those 1v1s are going to be really key in this fight.
And 9, we just saw a shot of that beautiful stage, and how great is it for these teams to compete at this high level, knowing that these are the best of the best teams. They have gone through the rankings here. They have gone through the battles and the matches and the qualifiers. And here you are on the big stage getting a chance to take on each other.
This is the payoff. This is why you practice. This is why you put in the hundreds, the thousands of hours that you do into this game. This is why you stay up late. This is why you get up early. It is for this chance right here.
How many hours was it? Did Kyo say he had locked into Splatoon?
Over 5,000. Just in Splatoon 2. Well, I know you have a lot, 9 of there.
Five-
Bottle late at night at
500
9.
hours
So
just in Splatoon 2?
let's go ahead. Arrow on a bomb, slam blitz. Let's take a look at these teams. We've got FT Win in the purple representing North America and Alliance.
Gotta give them a round of applause.
Representing Europe.
Woo!
Once again, that
That's a
clan
lot.
has been taking care of the community
No
on the map
kidding.
seems to be more important. Getting splats at times than not. It is, and there's one person in particular I'm going to point out again. I pointed him out last time. 2D, right here, playing the L3, the Kensa L3, has a hammer. We've seen the hammer do some pretty great things, and it's honestly the best answer for Tentafel. We're getting a sneak peek. Speak it into existence. You want to be the hammer, you don't want to be the nail. 2D getting some home remodeling done right there. 4-3 advantage on the field for FT Win, but you see a power slam in the hands of Alliance Rogue right now. Let's see if they can advance it into FT Win's territory. And actually, the problem is FT Win can see where that power clam is coming from.
Yes, it is glowing. And so everybody knows who has the power clam, and it sort of becomes little kids playing soccer. Everybody's after that power clam.
Saw Gray trying to utilize some bubbles to clear a path, but unable to do so near the basket. And so a power clamp still in the hands of Alliance Rogue. Shaq winning a big time one-on-one, but gets some reinforcement help from his teammates. Alliance Rogue able to avoid that. 3-2 on the field for Alliance Rogue.
And Gray really has to be the key player here. He's been in the middle of a lot of the action so far, but we saw what the Tentafel can do. And given that FT Win does not have one of their own, it's going to be on Gray to push the advantages that weapon has as far as he possibly can.
Ice with the power clamp, a couple of power clamps for FT Win on the field. Neither team has been able to get it into the basket on either side. Middle of the map has been where a lot of the traffic is taking place. Joe with the splashdown. Gray still being patient, deploying some bubbles right here. Here comes the Stingray. Alliance Road seems like this is where they want to make the push here now.
Here comes the Stingray, bubbles, baller. Everything was used right there. Gray is going to get the score, and they're going to jump somebody in. Gray actually was able to stay up for that, so Soren doesn't look like he's going to be able to get any more. I believe this is going to be the end of this push for the time being, but 57 is a big mark. We say that this is the mark where your score is officially good because now 2 power clams will not equalize.
Such a good point in action. We saw a nice job of Alliance Road clearing some traffic, using the bubbles to get the basket open, but then you saw the teammate use the super jump.
This is it's a classic strategy on Clam Blitz. Now, though, like I said, you've got North America. FC Win has got to really push to get at least 2 power clams plus a little more.
Joe and Kiver applying some nice pressure to Stingray, taking out a member of Alliance Road. Joe super jumping over to the side. Here comes the clams ready to go. Here comes the power clam. A couple of more buckets, but nicely negated. However, they're filling the basket. The timer is live. Ice has got some clams. The splash ball providing some protection. This is a big 1v1. They trade. Let's see if we can get any more FT Win members in. They're 1 away. And they take the lead.
Just enough there, and Shaq was actually able to jump back in and sneak. Shaq is going to keep this open as long as he can there and able to stay alive. They're going to be able to jump more people to Shaq right now if they want. They might opt to stick with this score right here, and it does look like they are. Shaq, have a day.
Shaq clearing the way for his teammates. It's all right to be greedy in this version, Shaq. I see you. 142 left, 44-57 lead. How about the hammer coming out once again for 2D? You called it 9 and then. How about the liberal use of the splash ball, Ashley, providing some nice protection for FT Win when they need it most?
That splash ball is one of my absolute favorite subs. It's a great way. You can jump in front of it, jump behind it. It's a really, really great defense for anybody looking to push forward. So he's doing a great job of it.
Let's see if FT Win wants to be on the offensive with 1:15 left. They have a power clamp ready to go. Ice is coming in, but it's only 2-1 on the field. And your Alliance Road 9, you've got a little bit of time left to mount a comeback, but you've got to be very careful about how you do it.
You do. I mean, you've got plenty of time here. 2 power clams are going to take the lead for them right now, and they know that with just a minute. They're going to try to get control and make great bomb up against that splash wall. Splash wall is fun to use when you're not in front of it. But when you are, anything can take you down.
Yeah, you want to make sure the ink is the same color as you when you're approaching that splash wall. Here comes the 4 Alliance Road. They've broken the barrier.
It's close.
Goes some more clear. They seize the lead from FT Win with 38 seconds left. That timer is still going. Let's see if Alliance Road can pack the lead. However, like you said, 9, just 2 power clamps away from FT Win.
They snuck more in.
just before the door closed, they grab one more bull and they go ahead and pad their lead. At this point now, it's going to take more than 2 power clams for the most part for FT win. How about a huge turn of events by Alliance Road?
It is, and really the catalyst for that was Ray with the 10th umbrella moving in, and then in the middle of all that chaos, hiding in the back. Nobody knew he was there. We are going to enter overtime here because they do have a power clam left on the map, but they're going to need a lot more than one.
It's a trade right there. We're going to head to overtime. You hear the siren sounding. Ice has got to be patient. Has a power clam ready to go. They're going to need more than one, though. You see the clam economy at the top. There's going to be a lot becoming available here soon. Oh, can't get the splat on Gray with the 10th umbrella. Gray trying to stay alive and weaken the forces. There's only one FT win member left. Hanging back right there. And that'll do it. Alliance Row seizing control of this match. And we've got a 1-1 tally as we get set for game 3 here, Ashley. And this is what's exciting about Clam Blitz. It's about that one moment you get to break the defenses and then making the most of your opportunity.
And that is exactly what Alliance Row did, and they did it multiple times in this game. And honestly, watching them really have that strategy locked tight, and all of them were together. They made that concentrated, coordinated effort right under the basket, and then snuck a couple in there right after. So that really actually made a huge difference.
It did. I think that's actually really the moment of the game where the entire dynamic changed, because at that point, they had to score not only one power clam, but a second power clam and then some. And it's all because, every one of those clams is worth 3 points. You sneak 4 more in, that's almost an entire other power clam. It meant that FT Win had to go out and be risky trying to collect more clams.
So that's such a good point because you think you have the safety of 2 power clams to get the victory there. No. You got to add some more to your bucket there as you get set. Let's take a look at our next upcoming rank mode match. It will be Splat Zones at Mako Marks. We saw earlier, as we continue to mention, that we love Splat Zones amongst the competitive community because of how consistent it can be.
It can, and we saw last time, when you get the lead, you have to push up. You have to be a little bit careful about not going too deep, but as long as you're putting pressure on the opponent, you can get big scores. We didn't even get the chance to talk about the penalty. Sometimes flipping the map is just enough to buy yourself a little more time.
That's such a good point that you make right there, because if you can just buy yourself some time with that penalty, Ashley, you don't need to panic. You can seize control. We've seen before Splat Zone. Once you have control, you can almost run that thing all the way down to 0.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can buy yourself enough time to really get in a couple of key splats, specifically the people who are in midline, maybe whose job it is to keep you away from that splat zone. So I think being able to take back and apply that penalty to your opponent is a huge part of the strategy in any splat zone game.
And what's been interesting is our teams are taking the maximum allotted time in between matches to talk strategy. So obviously, we see how competitive it is here, Nine. You're learning and applying things from maybe the last match that you want to take into the next break match.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned the last match, because the last mode that is in the set is actually another tower control game. I think Alliance Rogue knows we probably need to win this, because if game 5 comes up, we probably aren't going to win that one.
Splat Zones at Mako Mart. We've got FT Win in yellow and Alliance Rogue in blue here on your map. Loadouts, anything stand out to you?
Well, again, the 10th umbrella coming out of Gray. This one is one of the new weapons, the Sheldon's Pigs that were announced at PAX. This one has a wicked hammer. We'll see if Gray gives us some highlight reel material.
Obviously, one zone in here, and already FT Win claiming this one. Kyo trying to apply some pressure down the cereal aisle. No luck right there. 1v1 versus Kimber. How about the help and the support of the Stingray in that situation, Ashley?
That is exactly why he won that one-on-one, because it became a 1.5-on-1.
Oh, but Alliance Rogue and Gray going with the hammer, but let's go ahead and put the tools away. No time to work. FT Win taking control of the zone, but the penalty. There we go. They got the penalty. They're out of the principal's office here, and they're getting ready to pad their lead at this point. You've got a couple of backbinders on each team here, Nine. You have to advance them in this map.
You do, and that's why both of these teams are waiting until the exact right moment to use their Stingray. Go getting styled on a little bit there, and Ears are going to put another pick there. This lead is going to go back the other way, but this is the key moment. Splat Zones is so exciting because teams have gotten so good at this phase, which we call the lockout phase.
And here comes the lockout. Lead switching back into the hands of Alliance Pro. They've got 4-4 on the map, a couple of specials ready to go. FT Win can't seem to get into that zone. They're getting pushed back towards their spawn. They're going to need to really utilize those specials here in a push, and that's what they do, Ashley.
Oh, man, yeah, they are pushing right now. Ice is doing a really great job with that Stingray. I am shocked that so many splats came out of that, just because now Alliance Rogue had 3 specials, and then they lost a couple of them.
And 9, it seems like this match is a personification of these two teams, tightly contesting the lead, switching hands back and forth.
Well, this is so often what we see at flat zones at this level. It's a battle of both sides building up their specials, coming back in, trading lead, and then they lose it. The switch really comes when the specials don't take anybody on the other team out. When you flip the zone, but you don't get the lockout phase started. But again, we're seeing the exact same thing that we've seen again and again. But I think that Alliance Rogue is pushing.
All right, guys, be right back.
Last time, this might be their chance to take the distance.
And you see the penalty really slowing down the progress for both teams at this point, because as that score gets lower, that penalty is going to get higher. Nice flat by Ice on Gray. Let's see if MT Win can seize control. No. Great job by Alliance with the lockout phase. But as always, MT Win claiming control. It seems like Ashley and MT Win doing a good job of not getting pushed back too far.
Yeah, they're also doing a really good job of staying on the high ground. They're doing a really excellent job of communicating, talking about where their teammates are. I mean, he's a trade, but if you can take out Tito, that's really good for you.
Oh, MT Win doing a fine job, not losing control. Tower right there, and they take the lead once again. That's Alliance Rogue can battle back, and then they go ahead and grab this up. But this is where the penalty starts to come to play here, 9, as our timer is now right around 2 minutes left.
It is, and 2 minutes can be an eternity in flat zones because that timer moves faster than the one you see at the top of your screen. This checkpoint needs to be taken by this bomb rush. I think that the umbrella might be enough to slow it down here. Maybe not. One gets sniped out of the air. This is going to be the lead going back the other way.
That splashdown getting caught in midair was huge because Alliance Rogue now takes the lead with only a minute 44 left. That's a stiff penalty for MT Win to overcome. Zone is up for grabs. Can MT Win apply the penalty at this point? They do. Now they've got to hold on and try to lock out. They haven't been as successful with it as Alliance Rogue has been, and Alliance Rogue once again actually taking the lead, but it's 3-1 on the map. MT Win.
Oh man, that was this is going to be really tough for Alliance Rogue here. This is really for them. They might be able to pull up. They have enough time.
And 9, how about this? You don't see Squad Zone matches go this much back and forth. It really speaks volumes to how evenly matched these two teams are.
It does, and at this point, if you want to see the action, just look at the special meters on the top of the screen. That's what's dictating everything. One of these teams needs to find a pick in a situation they have, and getting that pick all the way back is going to be the reason that happened.
And you hear the roar from the crowd as MT Win claims control of the lead once again, and they are finally locking out Alliance Rogue. Here comes the Stingray, 14 seconds away from a critical Game 3 victory. Here comes Ursa with the baller, and Alliance Rogue takes back the lead. However, that penalty is going to be huge, Ashley, because they are running out of ticks on the clock.
They're definitely running out of time, and they need to go ahead and lock them out. They're going to have to keep this basically until the game is over.
Kiver and Alliance Rogue, 30 seconds left. They're going to have to take it into overtime if they want to get this victory. They have a chance, though. They're out of the penalty. Oh, but a couple of big splash once again. They lose control. MT Win's got a season, and they're 7 seconds away, 16 seconds away from getting the victory here. Alliance Rogue one more push here. They've got to build that special quick to see 2 more of their players right up there. Here comes the baller. Oh, but how about MT Win? There's mayhem in the middle here, 9. Oh my goodness, right over overtime.
And they don't have any specials to work with right now. It's going to be so important that the remaining players of FT Win can hold this position. They don't know he's there. Judy has to get this pick.
They were 1 second away from the match ending, but Alliance Rogue down. Just a few seconds away from that penalty erasing. They've got to hold the tower for 13 seconds.
Can they do it?
Here comes FT Win, and they're finding pressure. Alliance Rogue with that huge compromise. And as the sands of time almost run out, Alliance Rogue able to hold their position, and they steal a game from FT Win. Go ahead.
That was a bank robbery level steal. Oh my gosh, what an amazing comeback. I mean, for them to be able to hold like that, this is so good. It's so good.
Everybody here at the theater at Ace Hotel is buzzing right now. You see the response from the players, the round of applause from the audience. What a show. What a display of tenacity.
We might need a defibrillator for that.
Okay. That might be the single greatest game of flat zones I've ever seen. Back and forth, big plays being made. I'm going to admit, I thought that it was over. Kiver went down with splashdown with about 20 seconds.
I said, I think that's it.
That was it.
Yeah.
But for them to have the tenacity to come back in with about Just a few seconds left. Everyone on the map turned to the splat zone and said, let's hit the trigger as fast as we can. We've got to paint it. And that is the thinnest edge that you can win by.
1 second left in regulation. The Lions Rogue able to steal the zone. They overcome a penalty and take the victory in overtime. That's huge because now they take a 2-1 advantage in our semifinal. It's the first 1-3, which means we get set for our next ranked mode here. We just got done with Splat Zone. That means we're going to have a little Rainmaker coming up here as well, too. And you look at the Rainmaker strategy here, Ashley, and this is one that can end very quickly if you're the team that isn't able to match a push.
Yes, it can end very, very quickly because all you have to do, as easier said than done, of course, is take the Rainmaker to your opponent's goal. And if you can slam dunk that, you're golden, literally golden.
And 9 Rainmaker with these teams, it's all about a coordinated push once again, because you just can't go all solo by yourself and try and be an action hero. You really need the support of your teammates at Rainmaker.
Principles that we talked about in tower control apply here too. You want to play up ahead of the Rainmaker because though the Rainmaker does have a very powerful burst shot, it doesn't move very quickly. It does mean that you're kind of a sitting duck when you have it. It's going to be on the rest of the team to make the big push. So as we saw in tower control, they're going to wait until they get maybe a 1 or 2 squid advantage before they make that push.
2-1 Alliance Rogue has the advantage in the semifinals thanks to a last-second come from behind victory in overtime in Splat Zones. They're getting set for Rainmaker here in about 30 seconds, and you're so emotionally charged after a match like that. It seems like both teams need to sort of refocus to not get too caught up into what just happened here in the second 9 as they get set for Rainmaker.
Yeah, at this point, the last game never happened if you're FT win. You just say, all right, we were a second away from winning that game. Now let's move on to this one. I do think that Rainmaker does favor like to play. They have been the ones that have been more aggressive, and I think that that's going to be exactly what they need. Because Rainmaker Inkblot Art Academy, there's really only one way you can go.
There really is, and it's a matter of being able to take out the opponents on the high ground here, Ashley, because you want to use that undulation, that difference in height to your advantage. But if you lose pivotal spots here in Inkblot Art Academy, that Rainmaker is going to clear path to the goal.
It will have a field day getting right to the goal. It will be very easy.
All right, let's go ahead and get our brushes and smops ready. Inkblot Art Academy Rainmaker. Alliance Rogue 1 victory away from taking on the GG boys in the finals. However, FT win from North America. They're represented in the green. They want to push this baby to a game 5. 9, what you see it.
Well, I'm seeing pretty much the same composition that's come out of FT win here. They have to be comfortable with the way they're playing. They know they were so close. But Urza here is bringing out the first of the rapid blasters that we have seen here. Last year at this time, it was a dominant weapon as Shaq comes over and says, what are you talking about? I'm playing dominant.
2 advantage, FT win. That's going to be huge, moving the Rainmaker forward. 4-1, they're looking for the clean wipe. Yo, going to start to push the pressure into the spawn of Alliance Rogue. Actually, Alliance Rogue going to have to play some defense here very quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, they did not want to have that full wipe, so you saw one of those players jump right back to base because they said, you know what, let's just reset, let's compose ourselves, and let's get back out there together.
That's got the Rainmaker, have to avoid the onslaught. Oh, almost had the freeway open, but the toll booth was closed. Gets splatted right there. Alliance Rogue able to play a little bit of defense, but early on, 9, we mentioned at these Rainmaker levels, there is a certain point you get to where
right, and honestly, getting to this point this early in the game posed very well. And if it was not almost perfect defense by Alliance Rogue, that one might have gone even further. This Stingray combined with the Tips and Missiles is going to open a lot of space for them. They're going to need to move up quickly.
Ink Storm, though, with a powerful spec will just set it and leave, and that creates a lot of havoc for FT win. Alliance Rogue unable to get through that. Eyes once again with the Stingray, and Ashley, if you're FT win, you have the lead. Now focus on defense a little bit more if you'd like to.
Yeah, I think that's a really good strategy for them. They're going to, like you said, they're going to wait a little bit, get a couple of splats here before they start pushing forward.
9, you look at where you can maybe hit the Rainmaker here to make it very difficult for Alliance Rogue to mount the comeback. Any thoughts about doing that at this point?
Well, I think the wall that they're at right now is where it needs to happen, but they've waited a little bit too long, and they've allowed Shaq to move up here. If he gets one more pick, that might have been it, and they do get some more points out of it. And again, every point means a lot. As Kill actually pops the splash down by himself, Urza has to pop this bubble together. At least slow this push down.
38-70, you see some suction bombs, burst bombs, flat bombs, and torpedoes deployed right now. Every self-weapon you take the missiles ready to go. However, that's going to be negated by Kill. You see the one-shot splat as well, too. The constant pressure by FT Win. You called it out, Nine. They're the aggressor in this one, and it is shown. Shaq just jumped right into the middle of two people, got a splat, and said, no, the pressure is not done yet. Even eyes of the sky, my friend, we are not done. And once again, FT Win claiming that Rainmaker and actually just controlling the Rainmaker this whole match made it difficult for Alliance Rogue to even focus on playing offense. They're on their heels.
Yeah, they are absolutely on their heels here. This has been very difficult for them to get any traction, even in the second map, not even in any territory.
See with the Rainmaker trying to skip the wall. Nicely negated by Gray and that Umbrella. Rainmaker stole that wall. Touch the bomb coming down. 4-3 advantage on the map. Alliance Rogue, but we know that we can never count them out.
No, they can. And right now, the real change of dynamic here is that every time we see one Stingray, the other one comes out. The time that this is going to shift for either one of these teams is when one of them doesn't have that all-powerful Stingray to either make the push or slow it down.
4-3 on the map, Alliance Rogue. Once again, you look for that player advantage on the map. They have the Rainmaker. Maybe this is the chance where they can make a push here, Ashley.
Yeah, they're going to have to get a couple of really key picks here. I would say they can take out Kuhn, but obviously that Stingray is so brutal.
You don't need a dog. You don't need a security system. You just need a Stingray, Nine.
Two people did go down there at the start of that, though. So even though Ice was able to get that pick, you see that they're all there, and now Soren has his Stingray and is going to be able to fire it at whoever they want. Ray is going to grab it here, and Shaq actually won a 2v1 there to slow that one down.
That's huge right there. Shaq getting the advantage right there because they were in position to go ahead and push that Rainmaker. The lead of FT Win. Keep an eye on the clock in the middle, though. We're approaching about a minute left right now. FT Win with the advantage. Think how important it is to play defense and not waste any time or resources actually trying to extend your lead.
Yeah, one of the things they just did was they let Soren kind of walk around a little bit. They danced around, and then they took him out to stagger him so that that spawn took a little bit longer. They had to wait a little longer to regroup.
To escort the Rainmaker, Judy's got a chance, but no. Alliance Rogue with the splat. 36 seconds left. It's all about building special. Maybe time for one more push here, Nine.
It is going to be time for one more push here. They might be able to lose the Rainmaker, re-pop it, but that is going to be it. And the fact that a couple of them are kind of going down in odd situation is big. Earth's picked their big, but this baller is not going to be able to assist with this ball.
You know, I spoke too soon here. Baller takes the splash down. Here's the chance once again, but they lose the Rainmaker. And of course, Soren with that Stingray. Hook didn't work. Almost gets the wipe. 6 left. Rainmaker grabs. All they have to do is just leave it alone. They've got it covered, and that'll do it. Let's go to a game 5 here, y'all. FT Win get the victory. 2-2. How about that? The aggression by FT Win throughout the match to get the lead early on and protect it.
It was, and protecting the lead changes so much because when the opponent
Oh, hold
is
on a
playing
second.
Rainmaker,
A second,
you build
Jay.
special leader passively. It is so much easier to play defense as a result of that. And again, because there's only one path that the Rainmaker can go down, you can focus all your defense on one side. And can I just say, of course, we're getting a game 5 between these two. It couldn't go any other way.
Odds are it'll probably be overtime as well, too. But Ashley, we saw Nine call it out. Shaq with a couple of key 1v2 splats in order to protect that critical wall spot really allowed FT Win to play some great defense.
Yeah, it really did. So anytime you have two opponents bearing down on you, that is a really difficult thing to win. And it really speaks to his skill level to be able to really handle a 2v1 in such a relatively easy looking manner. I mean, it's not easy for us, but it's easy for him.
Let's take a look at the final 25 seconds of this. We saw almost a push by Alliance Rogue, but the defense applied by FT Win, and Nine take us through the last couple of seconds of this match.
What we saw here, what actually really worried me was Urza getting the pick. So this is a 2-down situation. You see the Stingray come out of Soren early, but that means that Ice got to fire his second. And I know he got the pick there, but that was going to be stopped by the Stingray regardless. Ice got another pick just for fun. Let's go ahead and toss an assist on there, and that really was the end of the game.
And it speaks volumes, Nine, to the ability of these players to understand score and situation. You have a special built up, that Stingray. You don't just go ahead and use it right away. You wait until the moment where it's most beneficial for your team.
I think the fact that Ice fired his second really was what changed that whole thing. Soren went early because it was on him to blaze the path with that pick, but Ice said, all right, you fire first, I'm going to get the vantage point on you. I'm going to be able to take you out. And at that point, it's just a slow-moving Rainmaker that I've got to stop.
Game 5, semifinals. The winner of this game will advance to the finals to take on the defending champion, GG Boys. We have tower control up next, and actually the mentality. We saw an unbelievable comeback in Game 3 by Alliance Rogue. FT Win able to hold their water, get the big game 4. It's the mindset of these teams as they know there's so much that hinges on this next game.
I think FP1 is really coming in confident to this game 5 because one, they've already won a tower control. They're very good at it, and they're also coming into game 5 with the momentum of having won game 4. So Alliance Rogue, I think, has a little bit more of an uphill battle here to really take them down, but anything can happen.
And you look at tower control yet again, these teams taking every second they can, Nine, to talk strategy, because you talk about this stage. This is the moment. This is where memories are made. At game 5 in the semifinals for a chance to play in the finals with all of the community watching. Going back to the strategy you saw with FT Win and tower control, what are they trying to replicate?
They're trying to push up ahead. They are trying to snowball the opponent, and they are trying to neutralize Soren's Stingrays. That's going to be the big job. They did it earlier with missiles. They did it with counter Stingrays. That's going to be the most important part of this game.
And you said neutralizing the Stingray, keeping them off balance as well, too, is critical because that Stingray relies so much on that positioning to see the map and to be comfortable, Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, the Stingray, especially in tower control, is so pivotal. And so you're going to see Ice and Soren facing off over and over and over again. And whoever the better Stingray is going to win the game.
Of course.
That's my prediction.
It's Starfish main stage for the right to play GG Boys in the finals. I know this crowd is ready to go. We've got FT Win from North America in the green, Alliance Rogue in the purple. What do you see from the loadout here, Nine?
This is weapons that we've seen from both of these teams this entire time. They are going with what they know best here. And at this stage, at this level, in a 5, I don't blame them whatsoever.
And as we know, that tower is tricky to maneuver over those first 2 checkpoints here because there's a lot of traffic. It's really easy for teams to respawn and apply some pressure. But right now,
How did that happen?
unbelievable. Two advantage on the field for FT Win already. They're going to go ahead and move this tower to the checkpoint. Unbelievable display of individual skill there, Nine.
He shouldn't have gotten either of those. That's not how that's supposed to work. There's a glitch in the system.
We talk about how this is a long match, actually, but things happening like that in the beginning can set the stage for the entire match.
It absolutely can, and it is, because right now they're past checkpoint 1. They're already going forward. I cannot believe he had his back turned.
And Ice applying some pressure with the Stingray Booyah Bomb, not getting a lot of support right there, but it'll have to do. Second checkpoint. This is the big one, Nine.
This is, and it looks like they are dancing around the tower right now, not wanting to give up the advantage they have built. And great job by Alliance Rogue moving up to the time. They're going to hold the tower here, but the threat is not even close to being gone.
That was a huge defensive stop by Alliance Rogue. We cannot stress that enough because once you get past that second tower, boy, is it hard to mount a comeback. Left right now, Alliance Rogue and FT Win, same amount of squids and octolings on the map right now. You see Urza trying to apply a little bit of pressure, help support the tower and escort that in there. And for the first time we see here, Ashley, Alliance Rogue applying some pressure.
Yes, and they're doing a really nice job of actually covering the high ground, and that is really important when you're trying to just delay a little bit. Just delay them just a hair. Make them eat that turf so that they have to spend a little time there as opposed to getting right to the tower.
Alliance Rogue able to get back on the tower. That's big right there, Nine. They're trying to get to the second checkpoint, but they are down 3-2 and a great defensive stop by FT Win.
It is. I have to say, for Alliance Rogue, you're happy with that because you lost to the Stingray essentially in that situation. That's what slowed that down, but you now have a much easier path to get there a second time. Win a couple times in this neutral game, we'll be back in business.
Such a good point. That first checkpoint's out of the way, so you can really allow that tower to advance much more quickly without taking a potty break, as we like to say. 2:40 left, 59-36 on the field. Advantage FT Win, and already we see a couple specials coming out trying to dislodge that Stingray, Ashley.
Soren is so good at building up that Stingray. It's outrageous. He has it so often, and he uses it so well.
4-3 on the map for FT Win. They're on the tower now again, and Alliance Rogue gonna have to play a little bit defense. Oh, Shaq in the aid of a 2v1 big time splat there, Nine.
And just the way that they moved around there, you saw, of course, Urza was looking at the tower. Shaq knew that and came around the outside. I don't know what level of coordination it takes to make a call like that in a split second, but they're almost back to that second checkpoint. They're looking for more points.
FT Win threatening to increase their lead at this point. They get knocked back off the tower. Couple more seconds there to hang out on there. Let's see if they can advance it. No, they lose the tower. They seize it back. Alliance Rogue doing all that they can to prevent the second checkpoint from clearing, and they stop it in its tracks and reverse.
I am very impressed with the defense that's happening here, but you can see there's a lot of coordination on what is being thrown at the tower. So a lot of tenta missiles. You got tenta missiles, you got a Stingray. It's all at the same time. It's a really great way to get away from the tower.
And 9, it seems like FT Wing can afford to be aggressive because the tower has to be turned, but hold on to your tentacles. Alliance Rogue on the tower, pushing it into the second half of the map here, Jordan.
And what FT Wing's trying to do is get these small picks so that they can't get all 4 specials at the same time. They know that that is the only way they're going to lose this trade if it means they keep those specials away.
Stingray trying to put a red light in front of the tower at this point. Tower gets returned back on its track. Alliance Rogue hops back on top, though. See the Umbrella Kipper getting splattered once again, playing from behind. Nice work in the 2v1s for FT Win. Under a minute left here, Ashley. This is where FT Win has to lock things up and not allow Alliance Rogue to sneak through the back door.
All they have to do is play a little defense, stay on the tower. It sounds so simple, right?
Yeah, that easy, right?
It's just that easy.
And 9, that's a good point. You got 40 seconds left to have the lead. Towers in their half. When you decide, listen, we're going to go ahead and bulk up our defense and hang on to the lead.
Well, right now they're saying the best defense is this kind of offense. Not even stopping the shots there. They're once again almost at the checkpoint, and with just 25 seconds left, they're going for the knockout. They're greedy. They want more.
Do what got you here and play aggressive. They're past checkpoint number 2. 18 seconds left. It's looking like a steep hill for Alliance Rogue, but they're back on the tower. Urza getting splatted by that torpedo. Yo and company, they just have to sit back. 9. Can Alliance Rogue do it? Or will MT1 punch their ticket to the final? 3 seconds left. And that's FT Wing from North America. They win Game 5, the semifinals. They advance to the finals to take on the GG Boys, and they survive a 2-1 deficit, Ashley.
I mean, this is exactly what brought them here. They are so good at tower control, and coming in with that momentum from that Game 4 win, they were really tough to beat.
My goodness, just terrific games, like you said earlier. How about a big round of applause for Alliance Rogue from Europe? Unbelievable matches we saw. Really, Game 3 that Alliance Rogue in the splat zone, you said one of the best you've ever seen.
It really was. Their ability to continue to, no matter how bad the circumstances were, I think shows what it takes to be a team of this quality. Can we please talk about that opening 1v2 that Kyo won? That set the tone for the whole final.
Whole entire
Let's
game.
go ahead and give you a replay here, my good friend.
Hey.
What Kyo did, and you mentioned these matches are so long, sometimes things don't matter in the beginning, but in this situation it did. It allowed FT win, and take us through what we're going to see from Kyo here, 9.
Well, I think if you'll allow me to get a little bit technical here, you can see this is the beginning of the map. Nobody really has many specials that are built. If Kyo goes down here, they lose this entire right side where that first checkpoint is going. Kyo gets that pick, which means they're going to be able to hold on to it. Getting this pick not only means that they're 2 down, as we see a little dance in there, it also means that that's 2 specials they won't have that FT Win will have.
And that was so huge because they established that early lead and never seized it. Let's take a look at the bracket as we get set for finals here. How about that? 5 unmatched between FT Win and Alliance Rogue. That means the GG Boys, who swept Lime Soda, swept the Ink Pools, the defending champions, will take on FT Win. FT Win, though, they're looking to do more than to just take a single game here, Ashley. They're looking to make a statement and possibly upset the GG Boys and end the dynasty.
Look, let's all be honest here. The GG boys are amazing. We know this, but they're not entirely invincible. They have lost before, right? I mean, they have lost a final. So it's not unrealistic to think that FT Win coming into this final with all of that enthusiasm, all of that momentum. I mean, Kyo is fired up. And who wouldn't be after a performance like that? Come into that final and get out there and get something done. It's not unreasonable.
Well, if I remember, in grand finals last year, the GG Boys did drop a game. So if they drop a game, they could drop 2. They could drop 3. They could drop the whole set right now. FT Win has all the momentum. They have this entire crowd at their back as well. There is so much going for them right now, but the GG Boys, ever steady.
Well, what you said about FT Win, when they are at their best here, 9, they are very difficult to beat. And minus that unbelievable comeback we saw in Splat Zones by Alliance Rogue, really, FT Win almost won that thing 3-1 over a very solid European team. And that's what we're playing for right there. The Splatoon Sterling Squid. North America won it in 2017. GG Boys last year in 2018. There's room on that trophy for a champion this year, but GG Boys standing in the way of FT Win.
Someone's going to go up 2-1 in the set of sets. The tournament of tournaments right here. And, I have to wonder a little bit. GG Boys winning with such ease that they did, winning 3-0 and then waiting for the better part of an hour for that. I wonder how this first game's going to go. They might be a little cold.
Yeah, Rhythm versus Rest. It's a best of 7 now, so we get even more Splatoon 2 action in our championship match between the GG Boys FT Win will be doing ranked modes, but as we saw, Ashley, depending on which rank comes up, twice possibly, if this does go beyond 4 games, is huge because you could argue that tower control being the 5th game was a big positive for FT Win. We're going to start with tower control also, and both these teams, it looks like it's one of their strongest modes.
It definitely is, but I'm very curious how GG Boys is going to handle not really having a backliner, especially got Ice back there with Stingray, and he is a menace. He's an absolute menace. So I'm really curious to see how they respond and what their strategy is.
And now you figure we'll see some Yamamichi with the Stingray as well. He's done a fine job of really providing that backline support at times when that special comes for.
Well, I'm really interested in seeing. They've been running. I agree that they don't have a traditional backliner, but they've been saying, to heck with that, we're running 2 backliners. That's what they've done. They've done a custom as well as Yamamichi's Stingray producing custom jet squelcher. So I think that they're trying to control the pace of the map with that double backline comp. Can work, and it has worked at the highest level. It's a control-oriented game up against an aggressive pressure-based game.
Well, this was something the GG Boys said earlier this week. They understand that the mechanics of the game have changed since last year, and where last year they were more aggressive with shorter range weapons, they realized the value in longer range weapons. So let's get set. Tower control, our first game in finals here between the GG Boys of Japan, your defending champions, taking on NT Win from North America. Tower control, game 1 here, 9. Get so excited for this one, obviously, because anything can happen, but Wahoo, that's going to provide some interesting strategy for this one.
It will. This is a great long-range map. You actually see Kyo switching over to the Neo, the sloshing machine Neo, which is not a weapon that we have seen a lot. It's got the point sensor for a sub and a bomb rush. They're going to be using that to pressure the opponent. There's a lot of open ground here. They're going to take it real quick with that one.
FT Win in the green. GG Boys of Japan in the orange early on. Nobody else getting a spot. Oh, there's an early splat right there. 4-3 advantage GG Boys. And oftentimes after things can change in the beginning.
Yamamichi gets these Stingrays in 12 seconds.
How about a couple of nice clean splats off the tower? Tai G right that thing to the first checkpoint. Dynamon providing some support up above with the explosion. Here comes Ice with that Stingray. Trying to get a splat. Tai G meanwhile, then Eek providing some aerial support.
Thank goodness they were able to get somebody out in that situation. If that Stingray found nobody, that was going to be what's going to potentially win the game right there. You see 2 of them going down. They're just a little bit disorganized right now. They aren't taking 2v1s.
GG Boys back on the tower and pressuring once again at that first checkpoint. Oh, big 1v1 victory for Yamamichi. Dynamon coming in with that ball and providing a little bit more support. Oh, Dynamon had a chance to flank him right there, but the 2v1 gets reversed and FT Win flanks some more great defense at him.
Those are some really big trades there, and I think you completely neutralized anything that was happening in that moment for both teams.
You get the feeling here, 9, that FT Win is finally stabilized a little bit after getting knocked out early on.
When there's a 12-second, of course you're going to get a little taken down. And Shaq has actually gotten 2 fish with just random bombs that he has tossed out in the general direction. That's what zoning can do for you. And now you're starting to see it push back the other way.
4-2 on the field for FT Win at that moment. It's now 4-3 GG Boys. Now there is a defensive excellent fine positioning right there. About FT Win taking the lead here, Ashley.
I mean, FT Win is doing a really great job right here. And Tona, though, doing the work, getting out there. He's getting a little aggressive. Let's see. He doesn't quite take it down.
3-1 and a nice almost play right there by FT Win. They're past the first checkpoint. And yes, GG Boys, they can't get hit. They get knocked back, and FT Win starting to really push that lead. That's a big checkpoint there, 9.
It is. This is the best that I have ever Shaq playing. He came, as he put it, from the very bottom, and he is pushing up right here. You can see Shaq and Killer there as well. This is becoming a steamroll right here. They only needed 1 good hole to take it all the way down to 13 and that final checkpoint.
GG Boys trying to fend off the final score back with some tented missiles. However, GG Boys are like, hold up a second. We're the defending champs for a reason. This thing ain't over. 4-4 on the map. GG Boys, though, they do not have much room for error. They are down 71-9 with 2.5 left. But here comes yet another Stingray providing support. And you figure here after this is going to be another nice push by the GG Boys.
It is. I am a little curious, Nine. Like, do you think that might have been a little bit too early on the Stingray for Yamamichi? I feel like maybe he should have held it a little bit longer.
Well, there were so many people that were still up in the middle of the map that I can understand using it just to try to buy yourself a little time and space. Right now, they've been they've been getting outspaced after what was a pretty shaky opening from FT Win.
Yo, as we said, getting 1v1s, that point sense is going to help. prevent the GG boys playing any hide and go seek. Here comes the super jump defensively. IG in that game, you got to apply more pressure. And once again, GG boys, they have to go through the first 2 checkpoints, but this thing is far from over. Here they are, and this is where they've been unable to get by here, Nine. Let's see if Dynamon can get some reinforcements to help out.
He will need some reinforcements. You saw that Etano was pushed up in a great spot, and Taiji is too. Chef trying to call out that Taiji is pressuring them, and this Stingray is going to be the most important part of the game here. Like I said before, if this can't find a pick, they're already going down.
No pick right there. Tower resets itself. Heads back to the middle. Yamamichi, in the middle of a 2v1. Nicely done by FT Win. They've got a 4-3 advantage. Tower reclaimed by the GG boys. That first checkpoint is clear. Taiji trying to bow down some traffic. Taiji gets a big splash. The tower for protection moves around. His teammates spawning in. 3v1 situation. Unable to escape that, and now it's 4-3 on the map. And this is a pivotal point here if the GG boys can get back on the tower here, Nine.
This has been really scary. This is similar to traditional sports where one team is holding possession for a long time. The GG boys have been winning the last minute of this game, and you figure it's just a moment. One of these teams, and that pick right there might have done it.
Yamamichi on the tower using the Stingray. It's 4-2 GG boys. Another Stingray coming back. Ice has to make this count. Here down the club, Yamamichi is IG with the Stingray. But once again, the GG boys continue to apply pressure. They're right by the tower. They're being patient, taking care of any threats. Less than 20 seconds left remain. It's 4 GG boys at 9. They got to make the count right here.
They do, approaching the second checkpoint. This might be some very crucial. Ink Armor should allow Sudi to win this 1v1, and he does. This is it right here. All of the GG boys need to stay alive as long as they can. And with 2 already down and 4 seconds left, this is going to be it, I believe.
And that does it. FT Win. It will hold their ink at the end. They steal the first game of the championship from the GG boys and take a 1-0 lead, actually. And now GG boys, they're having to feel a little pressure in this situation.
I bet. I mean, like Nine had mentioned, I mean, they've been backstage waiting, watching, sure, and making a strategy, but also waiting. And now FT Win's got some momentum. They are fired up, and they're gonna come to this next game ready to go.
The determination, the communication, the look on the face of FT Win, they are confident that this is something that they can take from the GG boys. Let's look at a couple of highlights here, Nine, as you walk us through some of the action. So many pivotal in this match, but right now, this is where FT Win really got their final big score of the game.
And this is, I think, the telling story of the difference in between these two teams. We talked earlier about what a double backline composition can do in terms of control, but the composition that FT Win is running and the way they play, they say, to heck with your control, we're moving up and you have to play perfectly to stop us. That is why they were able to push far as they were. But I will say, some people that I've talked to before this said that tower control may be the worst mode for the GG boys. They might be looking at this saying, we actually played given that, let's go ahead and take the next one.
Very interesting point. Here comes the Stingray from Ice, because you felt like this is the point the GG boys had the advantage. They were up 4-2, but the splat on Yamamichi not only stops the tower, but turns the tide of momentum on the field, and FT Win never shaking in their boots here, Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, getting that pick on Yamamichi was a huge deal because you take one of the best Stingrays in the game out. You also, he's got to wait to respawn. He's not going to get back in time. And so, again, it becomes running down the clock.
Let's take a look at our next ranked modes taking place here. Best of 7, game 1 going to win from North America. As you said, Nine, GG boys might not be sweating this loss in tower control. They know that they've got some other modes where they might be favored. We have Rainmaker coming up here next. And what's interesting is we have 2 Rainmakers, 2 tower controls in this best of 7 if we go to 7. And so Rainmaker, what we saw earlier on, FT Win, the more aggressive team that really helped them out. But GG boys, you talk about aggressive, you're going to find GG boys in the dictionary.
You will. And the fact that this is on Humpback Pump Track as well means that they're going to be able to attack it in a number of different ways. If they opt to stick with this double backline composition, there's enough room that you can pester people from regularly safe positions. So I'm interested in seeing if they stick with this, and if this doesn't work, they might need to find a new answer quickly.
And Nine, we haven't talked much about the sub-abilities that you can use right now. Is there anything that you're seeing from these teams that might be turning the tide of the map or speaks volumes to their strategy, possibly?
Anytime you use a Kensa Splattershot Pro, which is one of the most popular weapons, Kyo has been using it, we saw Kibber using it earlier as well, you're going to want to stack that main power up. That can turn that thing into from a 3-shot splat into a 2-shot splat.
Such an important aspect to keep in mind right there. But Ashley, Humpback Pump Track, Nine made a good point. There's really no place to hide in this map as well, too. There's so many different ways that you can be attacked. So aggression as they get set. Let's get ready for game 2 here. FT win with a 1-0 lead in our finals. GG Boys trying to even this thing up. We've got Rainmaker, GG Boys of Japan in the purple, and what do we see here?
Wow.
Caused such a reaction here, Nine.
Double custom jet squelcher? That's the answer? I've never seen this before. This is going to be 2 Stingrays, 2 burst bombs, lots of range, and Echina is using the Kensa for eyes.
No, I'm going to need a minute just to recover from this one.
It's actually the Aqua Brush bow. This is another weapon that we almost never see in competitive play. The Aqua Brush itself, they're trying to use that and create as much pressure. They say, Ice, you have a Stingray, we're going to throw 2 at you, buddy.
FT win with an early lead with the Rainmaker, but not much going on there because this pump track, anything can happen for the most part. 2D with some Ink Storm ready to go, trying to provide some saturation on this map at this point. 4-4. Neither team with a huge advantage on the map right now, fighting for mid. A Sting coming out once again as 2D backpedals, and Ashley, once again, the Stingrays do so much controlling the map on this stage.
Yeah, and with 2 of them, it's going to be even more interesting to see how that happens. Although Ice is so good and so precise with that Stingray that Dynamon really didn't stand a chance there.
You're going to hear that Stingray scream in your dreams right now. Yamamichi taking out low. Oh, and the one gets splattered right there, and that's a 4-3 advantage. Rainmaker at 42. FT win. Trying to surprise GG Boys once again, but 9. Getting to 21. How does that fare on this map?
I mean, I think this makes the job so easy. As Shaq gets around for a play, he might be able to win the game right here. He's almost at 11. Everything what I was about to say, a little bit, and it's still the same here. This is a very passive composition that the GG Boys are running. What they're trying to do is be able to target Ice's Stingray and then still have another one to play with a long, narrow path that Rainmaker has to travel.
It's interesting that the GG Boys are adapting to the FT win strategy. Meanwhile, FT win is just doing what works best for them as well, too. And you see it's working well, but the GG Boys finally on the map right here. Rainmaker stuck at the bottom of that ramp at this point. Ice negating that. Stingray ready to go. There's 3-3 on the field. 3 minutes left. Boys have plenty of time, but now FT win athletes, you've got to start to think about playing defensively to get a chance.
I mean, at this point, that's what you want to do, but Intona is making that really difficult. And that double Stingray means that you've got 2 players. One can focus on taking out Ice, and the other one can focus on taking out 3 other players.
And 9, we saw the defensiveness was part of the GG Boys strategy to really disrupt the Stingray and the camping ability of FT win. Taiki getting a nice little pick on that ink jet as well, too.
And this is finally where the strategy might pay off a little bit. You saw that they immediately went with the double Stingray, and that's did a couple here, so they're going to get a chance to push. If Taiji wins the 1v1 and he's not able to, they might have been able to push up a little more. But you look at the position, they just don't have that many aggressive weapons. They're relying very heavily on the Stingray.
It's such a good point. They need to spend long range in order to get their splats in for FT win. They love the aggression. They will get up in your face. That Rainmaker 2D's got an escort and a little bit of room to Yamamichi trying to negate things. Here comes yet another Stingray. Oh! Stinging on Stinging and Ice is able to survive that Stingray war. And here comes FT win. They've got the sizable lead. Now they just have to be a little bit patient here. And GG Boys once again on their heels here, 9.
Well, I can't say enough how nice it is. The reason that Ice seems to always be winning Rainmaker, these Stingrays, is because he can be reactionary. And speaking of reactionary, the crowd reaching a fever pitch as 2D almost gets it there. It's still back to 11, but the pressure that they are able to exert, and the fact that Ice can wait for the to respond to it, means that he's always Stingraying from an advantage.
Yamamichi, the Stingray. 1:18 left. The GG Boys running out of time. They certainly want to avoid a 2-0 hole. Here comes Taiki using that inkjet for a bit of advantage, but Shaq getting through the defenses and stopping Rainmaker in its track. A minute left. Oh, nice little one shot as well there. 3-2 on the field. GG Boys, they have to 4-2.
Oh, no.
You've got to be careful if you're FT win here. Echina using that, hit the missiles to dislodge everything. And now it's 2-1. How about FT win trying to hold their water? Point here, Ashley.
I mean, F2 Win's going to have to work really hard right now to be able to hold this. GG Boys are really doing a great job. That was a great pick. Excellent pick right there. Now we reset a little bit. They can Agreed.
The 1v1s and the 2v1s, FT Win really riding this lead at this point. Rainmaker still in the territory of FT Win. The GG boys, you got less than 30 seconds left. You have to make something happen now. 2D getting the splat, starting to move forward here at this point. 20 seconds left. Rainmaker up for grabs at this point. 4-2 on the map. FT Win. If they can close this out, they'll take a commanding 2-0 lead in this best of 7. Dynamon and the troops trying to get their push together.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Once again, 9-7. This team is playing best. It is hard to see even the defending champs right now. Both games have started the same, getting an early lead and then continuing to protect it and play defense. It's so much easier to play defense. And again, I think the most important moment there, when the GG boys were in command and looked like they might get a pick, Ice dove down and traded his squid for 2 of theirs. The fact that he was able to get 2 with 1 jump, I think, is what stopped that push in its tracks.
Huge pick. Huge pick. And honestly, like, I think you mentioned the double Stingray is a really conservative approach that you can take during Rainmaker. And it felt like if you're going to take that approach, you cannot get splatted. Because if you're being conservative with an aggressive team like FT Win, they get 1 pick on 1 Stingray, it's off to the races.
And it's such a good point, Nine, because you were talking about the composition you saw from the GG boys at the beginning. This is a team that's known to be aggressive, going with some rather passive weapons here. Do you think if you're the GG boys, you maybe change your strategy and go back to your old, much more hyper-aggressive ways? I don't know if hyper-aggressive is the way I'd go, but I don't think the double backline is going to work. It's become a battle of trying to control that which cannot be controlled. And the other thing that we really need to just look at, they're a control-oriented composition that is trying to play from behind, and that is not where that type of composition can succeed. 2-0 advantage, FT Win. Let's take a look at our next rank mode coming up here. We've already seen some tower control, some Rainmaker, Clam Blitz coming up here in 9 as you go ahead and gaze into the future of this one. What are we going to see from Clam Blitz on this next map?
This is Snapper Canal, which is a very open map. There's a lot of room you can move on the left and to the right side, which means that weapons that can paint better and the more mobile composition tends to win. And that's FT Win right now. They're the more aggressive composition. They're the ones that's going to be able to build up the clams at a quicker pace.
What's amazing to me, Ashley, is that FT Win was staring a 2-1 deficit in the face, best of 5. They had just been upset on splat zones at the last second. How about their resolve? They've won 4 straight games now.
I mean, this is it's not like we haven't seen comebacks like this during this has been a crazy World Championship, and the path to it have been full of crazy upsets. I mean, we watched Australia, New Zealand, just like Soda come back from that 0-4 deficit. I mean, they're unstoppable right now, FT Win.
The Splatoon Sterling Squid, just 2 games away from FT Win. However, the GG boys, if you want to talk about a team that won't quit, that's them. But 9, as you said, between the stage and game mode, this might play into the hands of FT Win. They're going to be in the blue. Meanwhile, GG boys of Japan in the green. And it's all about managing that clam economy on now for what we've seen is a very determined, confident, resolved FT Win team. And a couple of changes in their lineup.
Yeah, we're seeing Etsuna go ahead and switch back over to the Umbrella. And on the other side, we see the ballpoint Splatling that is coming out of Ice, who has had the tournament of his life so far. And he's going to try to rotate back here. It is a little bit more mobile of a backliner here. So again, the focus on mobility. On the other side, though, the GG boys saying, now this is a bigger map. Now we can control it a little more. And finally, we don't have an objective that you can push.
A couple of Squid Beacons coming out as well, too, allowing FT Win to navigate this map as well, too. But you see the Tent Umbrella providing a lot of protection right there. And already, Power Clam into the goal here for the basket. GG boys, first one on the map. Here comes the baller. Let's see if they can add anything else to their score. But that's going to help more than anything else. The GG boys finally taking the early lead in the game mode here, 9.
They do, but the fact that they just gave FT Win what we call the pity clam right there. When your basket closes after the opponent scores, you get the chance to get a free clam. And right now we see Yamamichi just trying to get rid of Ice there, and with it, that pity clam. So I don't know that the one score really does a whole lot for them in this situation.
Dynamon also utilizing the Squid Beacon to advance behind the defenses of FT Win. He's got a power clam ready to go, but you know you can't hide with it. Everyone knows where you're at. More clams being dropped onto the field here, and you see a power clam for each team. C1 with a somehow able to escape that. Oh, but FT Win getting the critical splat. 4-3 on the map for them, and they have a power slam 9.
They do, and Shaq getting another pick right here. He's going to just try to distract anyone who has that higher ground. Going to come get what could have been an easy pick on the Taiji. That's going to be the lead, and it might be a lot more if they don't play this well.
FT Win, 3-point lead over the GG Boys to get that one extra slam, and that is huge because you look at the penalty. FT Win, though, they've got the lead. It's going to take one power slam, though, for the GG Boys to come back. So not too bad right there. Not too much damage on that side. It's still up for grabs either team. And you mentioned the use of the squid beat. It's helping teams move around here, but actually controlling the middle of this map is going to be so important right now, and neither team has really been dominant there.
It really is, and you're right. Neither team has really been dominant controlling the center of the map. I think really at this point the GG Boys are just trying to slow down the pace of the game because FT Win is so out there for blood.
GG Boys, they get a power clamp into the basket. They now have a 10-point lead, trying to get some more reinforcements there to spill some more clamps. They do. That timer continues. Etina within reach. And yeah, GG Boys right here, 9 applying space pressure, filling that basket.
Well, I love the fact that Etina opted back there and say, I'm going to continue to hold on to this spot with my umbrella that you can't do much about. I will keep this up here if we can score and keep the basket open a little longer if we need to. Otherwise, we'll take points.
43-77, and that's huge because FT Win's going to need at least 3 power clamps to match the score of GG Boys, or at least 2 power clamps and then some help. And we know how difficult it's been to score in this game so far. But we see 2 power clamps on the map here. FT Win with a chance to make a push here, Ashley.
Yeah, FT Win taking out who is probably the closest to a special with the exception of Yamaguchi. But once you do that, now he's got to respawn. His special meter is gone way down, and he is really back at square one.
Shaq gets a critical splat with the baller, gets the power clamp, gets it in the basket, and here's the window of opportunity for FT Win. Can they get some help and get some more points here? Here comes yet another power clamp, super jumping in. But how about Dynamon with that big time splat?
Shaq might be able to get a lead here. No, he was not able to collect. He's going to add one more to
FT Win. At the very last second, they sneak in a couple more clamps, and they take the lead with a minute left. And that penalty is huge because 9 is going to take a power clamp and then some for the GG Boys to reclaim the lead.
We come up to a minute left. Yamamichi's position is important. Their composition will shine. They're going to be able to at least keep FT Win pinned back, or at least I thought so before Shaq ran face first into a 1v2 and still got a pick out of it.
Yamamichi, huge pick right there. 4-3 on the map. FT Win. They've got to hold on to a 1-point lead. GG Boys, they need a couple of power clamps in order to recapture the lead here. 30 seconds left. FT Win can take a commanding 3-0 lead. Let's see if 2D and his gang. That's a big time spot as well, too. Ashley, GG Boys, this is where they have to make a push, or else it's going to be a steep hill to try and reclaim that champion.
A very, very steep hill for them to try to reclaim. So, 10 seconds left. I don't know. Can they make it?
Dynamon's got a power clamp ready to go. We know it's going to be overtime as long as they have it claimed. 3-3 on the map. FT Win. No! GG Boys at the last second. They got a couple power clamps in there, and just like we saw in the semifinals, a game 3 overtime come from behind victory 9.
The ability, they had 2 power slams there. They split them on side of the map. There wasn't a way for all of the members of FT Win to contribute to stopping one push. We were focused on the push on the right, but the push on the left broke through.
Ashley, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that this baby in me is freaking out right now because I freaked out. That was crazy. I can't believe we just saw that. That was so amazing. I mean, these last seconds snatched from the jaws of defeat victories are always my favorite thing to see. I just shook mine probably harder than I should ever shake a human being in my life. That was incredible and a true testament to how good GG Boys are and how they will fight until the last possible second.
Let's take a look at a replay from that exhilarating match that we saw there. And 9, go ahead and walk us through what we saw at the split of the power clamps here.
Well, I think that Etina got the pick there on the splashdown in midair. It was either that or Yamamichi, but that allowed them to move up. You see that everyone else had rotated over to stop this push, and they were able to sneak back up. There's actually not even much resistance on that side. Shaq tries to go in, but you're not going to be able to take down Abrella by yourself.
Yamamichi with the power clamp, filling in a couple of clamps. And Ashley, we can't emphasize how big that victory was. GG Boys, if you don't make that play at the end of the match, You're down 3-0. You now have to sweep FT Win to try and reclaim the championship again. But because you get that victory, it's 2-1 and you're back in the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a great way for them to reclaim momentum, to get a little confidence rolling into the next mode, which is going to be really fun to watch. I think this is going to this might be a very pivotal game in our tournament.
And I think that one of the other things that's most important about getting that win is Splat Zones is Japan's best mode. They invented the game of Splat Zones that we have tried to emulate as best we can. So they might take both of these and flip it right 3-2.
Let's see where the rest of our destinations are. Best of 7 finals. It's 2-1 in favor of FT Win of North America. The GG boys with an unbelievable come from behind victory. We see that Splat Zones is next. It's also back-to-back here, 9. So here's a chance for the GG boys. If you say that they are as good at Splat Zones as we think they are, here's a chance for them to go up potentially 3-2 going into our final modes. And so we've talked about the competition level. Actually, we're experiencing it right here. These teams are so well balanced.
They are so well balanced. They are so calm under pressure, and I that is really to me what separates the highest tier players. They don't get tilted. They don't get salty. I mean, they're just like, you know what? It's all right. I got this. I'm one of the best in the world. No problem.
Going back to Splat Zones, the conversation we had with the GG boys earlier in the week, where they feel like they're not going to push aggressively out of the zone. They want to defend it once they have it. What will that look like, 9?
Well, especially on Gobi Arena, which is where we're headed now. This is a map where I almost feel like you have to be willing to push up a little bit. You can see here, you talk about Unjust. This has the most of any map. I think the long-range composition that they have might tilt it in their favor.
Up your J's and let's play some hoops in Gobi Arena as we get set here. You've got the GG boys in green. FT Win from North America in the purple. It's 2-1 advantage FT Win, but the GG boys are loving the side of Splat Zones. And once again, a single zone Splat Zone match.
And taking a look at the composition that you see FT Win playing right here, they're running double bomb rush, which is not something that you would see a ton. They know that they're going to get zoned out by all the range. So they're saying, let's put bombs up there. You can't shoot those down.
Early lead for the GG boys. They're already up 25 as they control the zone, and you don't see a single FT Win member in this screen whatsoever. So the GG boys not messing around. Now, that's got to be careful. That's an unequal area. Point sensor coming out. Yamamichi's going to scurry away as that the missiles gets deployed. And Ice once again using the sneak ray, but a couple of specials, 9, if they're not able to play the zone quite yet.
No, they finally do get it, but they're only one down here. Taiji, I thought maybe should have run out a little bit further. You saw that Yamamichi had respawned in that situation. It does punish Ice for a bit of overextension. Still a lot of game left to play.
And actually, we talked about the lockout phase that's so important for FT Win. Well, this is what they're going to have to do now that you see the penalty for the GG boys.
Yeah, I mean, if they have that penalty, they can go ahead and lock them out. Don't let them apply a penalty to them. They're going to be in a very, very good position.
Oh, huge reclamation of the Splat Zone by the GG boys. That applies a 35-second penalty to FT Win. 3-2 on the map, advantage for defending champions, 9.
And that's the big thing right there. The fact that they got a 3-2 advantage means they're going to be able to push all the way up. You know, why is he running back here? Just making sure that no one's coming around the flank. He has a bomb rush. He knows they're about to have all 4 specials up. They should be able to take this without too much trouble.
That's a very good point. You see the flashing, evening icons at the top. 4 specials ready to be deployed by FT Win. Meanwhile, they're down. They've got the 4-2 advantage, FT Win, at this point, and they take control of the Splat Zone after the GG boys improve their lead ever so slightly. 3 minutes left. FT Win trying to lock out the GG boys. They've got a 2-1 advantage, but the GG boys early on actually control this entire match.
They have, but I don't know. I mean, they've got a couple of specials going, but it's possible that that one pick just right then, that might actually not be a good thing for GG.
Couple of bubbles coming out. GG boys, they take the zone. 2:30 left. Plenty of time left. Both teams with a hefty penalty as well, too. Oh, and Shaq's getting splatted unable to use those tens of missiles. And the GG boys, they are really stepping up this game.
They are, and this is how composition works on a map like this. You notice they're able to continue painting the zone without putting themselves in danger. That's why FT Win has opted to go with the double bomb rush composition, because they know that that's the case. But sometimes you got to have a little more range than that.
GG boys out of the penalty box. Score continue to improve. Now they're 15 seconds away. Steve Ray coming out by FT Win. And how about this? 3-2 on the map. GG boys looking to tie things up. 2-2. Can FT Win stop the advance? 1 second left. No, they can't do it. And the GG boys, after staring a 3-0 deficit in the base have now won back-to-back games to tie this thing up at 2-2. We're at least getting a game 6 here, 9.
We are, and thank goodness for that. I was a little worried there at the start that I was going to have to break out the broom. That will not be the case. But if you are FT Win, you can say, all right, that was the worst possible draw we could have got. That was a map that favored their composition on a mode that they are supposed to be best at. I don't think they're losing too much sleep over that.
And you're right, FT Win, they put up quite a fight during that match, even though the GG boys seem to always control the zone. And Ashley, mentality is we're up 2-0. You lose another close game, you feel like you should have won if you're FT Win. Now it's 2-2, and you're going back to splat zones once again. What's your approach?
Well, the nice thing is for FT Win is that they have just played a game mode they're going to play again. So they really understand what the strategy is for the GG boys. So they can say, okay, let's regroup. Let's figure out how we can shake up the strategy a little bit and also take back a little bit of that momentum.
As we said, Splat Zone's coming up next, but also a different map, which might favor a different composition here, 9. And what are we going to see in our second go-around of Splat Zones in this finals?
Muscle Forge Fitness, and this is a very scary map to play it on here. They're the big size. Some people call it Volcano, but you can come up, and it's a big zone as well. I think we're going to see some bomb rush, perhaps from both teams, but double baller. Keep an eye out for that. That can flip the zone in a heartbeat.
Well, I know you busted out some curls at Muscle Forge Fitness earlier this morning, so it's looking great right there, my friend. And Ashley, the GG boys, they have to be feeling very confident now because you were down 2-0. You've taken the last 2, and it's your game mode that you really love to see.
Yeah, I mean, this is really in their favor. And so it will be very difficult for FT Win to come out and win this one, especially if GG boys can come out and really take that lead early. I think they have an excellent chance of holding that lead.
And 9, you look at the composition for the GG boys, and we saw for the first couple of modes, they were more so reacting to what FT Win was. It seems like the last 2 games, they've just decided, we're going to do what works best for us.
Right, and I think that the mode changing into modes that they're more comfortable in allowed them to play that game. And I think that the fact that they lost those first 2 games and now get to go through 3 potential wins before they have to see either of those again, give time, figure out what they want to do.
This is a huge swing game right here. 2-2 FT Win versus the GG boys. Whoever takes this will be just 1 win away from the championship. And this platoon, Sterling, Squid, Muscle Forge Fitness. You've got FT Win representing North America. And of course, the GG boys of Japan in the blue. Loadouts 9. What do we got here?
Well, I was wrong. There's not going to be a double baller. In fact, there's only going to be 1 baller on the map. Again, these teams are going with some more indirect ways to capture the zone. A lot of respect for each other right now.
2 L3s as well, too, for the GG boys. Nobody's got the zone right now. The GG boys finally secure it. Let's see if they can maintain and provide a little bit of a lockout. They're up 4-2 already, actually, with FT Win having spawned back.
Yeah, I mean, watching Ice jump away there, that was probably a really good idea because it wasn't looking too good for him. So they're going to have to FT Win could have to regroup. Yamaguchi already out there with the Stinks.
Inkjet, Stingray ready to go, and 2 other specials. Boys from 9 are doing a great job of stacking their specials early on.
They are, and they're willing to trade as many people as it takes to build this big lead because we've seen how easy it is to flip a zone back. And as long as you're in the lead, you're okay with flipping it back and forth because you know the penalty continues to stack.
That's such a good point. You can take the biggest bite of the pie early on if you don't have that penalty. But right now, FT Win trying to lock out GG boys. GG boys trying to wrestle back control. You see the nice little 1v1 spot right there. And Shaq getting splatted as well, too. GG boys with a 3-2 advantage.
Yeah, make it 3-1. How about that? Ice goes all the way back. Yo saying, I'm just going to take down whoever I can here. It's not like I was going to get much done anyway. So I like that, and I like the fact that they are continuing to fight, and that's actually a great way to continue to get your team spawned again. I love this overhead view. You see that they're trying to build as much special meter as they can with very limited room to do it.
And they have the time to do it because the penalty's going down right now for GG boys. They're not improving on their score. FT Win also with a very small penalty. They can afford to be a little bit more patient. But the Stingray from Yamaguchi once again applying that pressure. And now the GG boys about 30 seconds away here, athletes are making it 3-2.
Yeah, GG boys right there. Yamaguchi taking out Ice is a huge deal because FT Win had 3 different specials going all at once. And so to be able to take one of those off the board is a really, really big advantage for GG boys.
All right, FT Win has got control of the zone. Their penalty's done now. You see a sizable one for the GG boys. FT Win, if they're going to dig down deep and find something to apply some pressure against the GG boys, now's the time to do it. But the GG boys, 9, so calm, so cool, so collected, timing the use of their special so well.
Right, and I think that going in really deep with this Inkjet here might come back to bite size. You're going to try to hide away and actually gets the pick on the kill. That's a big one. Fine taking that trade to ice there. The frontline aggressor is gone, and now they have a Stingray that they can use to pick off ice. A little bit slower of a weapon to kill, but
You see that heavy Splatling trying to cover the zone, but the Stingray from Yama EG continue to just dominate this matchup. EG boys almost out of the penalty. They reclaim it. They've got a couple of bubbles supporting things there as well, too. And now, 12 seconds away, EG boys trying to lock it out. Here comes Joe with a well-timed splashdown, though. Can FT win, seize control, and apply a penalty? They do. They're still in there, Ashley. Let's see if they can turn back the comeback on the EG boys.
Gio is doing an amazing job right now. I mean, 2 huge picks right there. That is going to give them a very, very nice cushion in which to pick up some points here.
A couple of specials being built up for the GG boys. They're going to be ready to play some defense. FT win. 9 figured this is the time. They have to lock out GG boys if they want to come back.
They have, and watch the staggers of the special here right now. They've already used 2 of them. The third one is going to go. They're going to try to make it feel like specials are coming all the time. 1 goes down and 1 jumps down. That's as good as 2 down. Let's make it 3 as well. And they are again fine trading these points as they get another one there. A little bit of a hiding squid there in the corner. But again, they're okay making that trade because with just 1 minute left, they know that they only have to do it maybe 1 more time.
And that's such a good point. They have control of the zone, and the timer is ticking down now. And so FT win, you're up in the face against the ticking clock here. You've got to be able to seize control of this zone here soon with the GG boys. Couple specials ready to go. They're just 5 seconds away. Can FT win claim the zone? They do! Oh, with the last second, 1 point away. And now they wrestle it back from the GG boys. And it's 4-3 on the map. FT win. Let's see if they can write their own storybook ending in a splat zone matchup 9.
Joe has kept the game alive for them twice. He won a 1v2 earlier. He had a splashdown to beat the bubbles. His splashdown there took it at the very end. He is willing this team to keep in this match.
Huge Stingray from Ice coming out right now. Oh, and gets a splash. FT win just 33 seconds away from stealing victory from the GG boys. It's 4-2 on the map here, 9. Ashley, they might get it done here.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is amazing. It looks like they may actually keep them out. Taiji's going to do his best here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
3 seconds left. No way. Control. 8 seconds left. And a complete point from FT win. And the GG boys, they were looking at defeat straight in the face, but they don't cower as they come up with the defensive stand of the tournament here, 9.
They did it with no specials. They did that without a single special. Taiji's right there was not used at all in that push. I cannot believe it. To see a push, a 4-0 wipe at the end of the game when the opponent knows we just have to hold it for a handful of seconds, and to get it without needing a single special might be the best.
Look at this from Taiji. I mean, this is amazing. He gets in there. Kyo gets taken out. And Tona right there, giving that support that's needed, and they're able to take that right back. Oh, my gosh.
The 2v1, as you said, no specials required, just special ability from these players. The GG boys almost losing a splat zone, which would have been a huge steal of a game by FT win. Look at what this team is able to do. GG boys now winning 3 straight games. They're 1 away from repeating as champions. But Ashley, it's the 2 game modes coming up here that FT win has already won.
Right. They've already won these 2 game modes. I mean, they're coming in. They can say, we can come in confident here. And as we've talked about, even if they win this, if they win this, tower control might be theirs because, as you were saying, 9, GG boys, that might be their worst mode.
It might be, but they could not have asked for a better Rainmaker map. This is Kelp Dome Rainmaker right here, a fairly infamous map in the Splatoon community, but it is also the easiest map to defend. They're going to be able to stack 2 Stingrays, 3 Stingrays if you want. There's only one way the Rainmaker's going to push.
But you have to have the lead in order to defend. What we've seen from FT win is their ability to take early leads. But in these last 3 victories, it's been the GG boys that have gone out first. If you're FT win, how important is it for you in this one to take the early lead and take away the defensive advantage for the GG boys?
I think it's a requirement. I think that if they have to play from behind, that will play exactly into how the GG boys want to play. If the GG boys get an early lead, I don't think FT win can break through.
GG boys just 1 game away from etching their names onto the Splatoon Sterling Squid once again. However, FT win. They won Rainmaker earlier in this best of 7. They want to take Game 6 and give all of us a Game 7 here. The crowd's been fantastic. I know that this is what they've been looking forward to. At least a Game 6 here between 2 of the top squads in
This
the
is
world here.
this is
Athletes,
intense,
it's
guys.
pressure on
I'm
you.
slightly nervous.
This point,
I'm not gonna
winning
lie.
game 6 or
Sheesh, guys. Guys, you really, really.
You know, you've got FT when they gotta come out swinging. DC
Whew.
boys have to do the exact same thing. I mean, this is
My heart,
this
my
almost
heart,
feels like the
my
real
heart can't take it,
pivotal- I mean,
man.
this is
Whew.
it for me. Like, whoever wins this is gonna come into that game 7. If we need a game 7, it's gonna come into that game 7 like really raring to go.
And what's been interesting, Nine, is how much of the time these teams have been using. There's so much strategy and counter strategy going back and forth. Once again, FT Win was just moments away from taking a 3-0 lead, but a come from behind last second overtime victory and clam blitz by the GG boys spurred a 3-0 run by them. They're now just 1 game.
The teams have seen these maps ahead of time. But I think they're taking the time to catch their breath. I think it is not without merit as we see game 6.
Here we go. Game 6. Rainmaker, Kelp Dome, GG boys, Japan in purple, 1 game away from claiming the championship. FT Win in the green. They're looking to push this thing to a game 7. And early on, what we see in here, actually, as we see both teams kind of fight for control in the middle of the map.
Yeah, you're gonna want to get a couple of picks before you pick up that Rainmaker. You can see Shaq just hear it, but not quite picking it up. They know they need to take out a couple of PG boys, and it doesn't quite work out.
Nice trade right there. Some great support. And we talked about trying to get the early lead and not able to do anything with the Rainmaker there right now, 9. And you look at the GG boys, they have the player advantage on the map. The fact that Shaq was only able to get one of those 2, I think, was huge. And again, saving the punishment there and forcing Ice to head back to spawn. He was sitting there ready to punish his jig. Does he go off the side? They know he's here. He might be able to slow this down. They spot him off just in time. We're going to get a chance for a push right here. GG boys, we talked about that early lead, how important it is for them. They're not on the board quite yet, but here they go. They finally are able to get into the half of FT Win. So 20 early lead. Now we can see more of that defense tonight. 67, you're going to see a lot of stops right in that area. You see that door right there. You see the fact that there's not much room.
My heart. Stop it, man. Stop it, guys. You're trying to scare me, man.
Completely gone. You're going to see Ice try to do the same thing on the other side.
Big opportunity to take the lead for FT Win here. You want to take away that
Woo!
opportunity for the GG boys. Yo, when you get some pressure in case of Ethna trying to avoid all the flats. Oh, corner. And already the lead is taken by FT Win. And you mentioned that is a tight corner to trying to get into. And actually, FT Win doing what they want to do, get early lead.
Dynamon sitting here waiting, he's lurking around the corner. That hallway, I mean, that is a choke point of all choke points. So it's a very difficult get past there, especially with Tai Chi on that heat jet. He is so accurate.
IG and the 8 jet 4-3 on the field right now. GG boys, they are down to FT Win 59-67. They can't rely on playing defense with range weapons, but a smackdown picked off mid-air is a huge thing for the people.
That's the gamble at this level. Splash down even it used to be. And I love the fact that they immediately opt to move and try to put pressure on you. They know someone is going to be waiting in this area. They're trying to get them preemptively and to be able to get off his special and maybe even a pick. The fact that his special is there, though, might be big for the defense.
FT Win looking for one more game. They're down 4-3 on the map right now. And the GG boys are looking to steal the lead. But once again, that's great by Ice with the saving break for FT Win.
I mean, Ice is going to be there waiting for that corridor. I mean, that's where you hold that special car. As soon as they get to that doorway, it's time. And we need to go doing the exact same thing. Taichi's going to go ahead and stick it forward.
Yamabichi providing the Stingray support. They're able to mow down FT Win like a Saturday morning launch. 3-2 on the map for a moment here, but now it's 4-4. And if you're FT Win, you've got to get the Rainmaker out of here. GG boys, you're just 30 points away from claiming another championship. Everybody's in this room right now, 9.
Oh, and Kill getting stuck there. I don't know if it'll come back to bite them because Tendrill's by himself. That will be the end of that push. But again, to be able to get it to 30, that starts to get into the danger zone with just 90 seconds left. There's not much time.
2D trying to go through the back door, however, gets splatted. That's a difficult spot for the Rainmaker to land because now you're FT Win. You got to take it out of there. If you're the GG boys, you have a minute and a half of defense left. And here goes Ice by himself. He's going to need a little bit more support, but at least you have Rainmaker on their map. Not to provide that on the first one. Actually, GG boys, all you got to do is hold out home base.
They do it. Yamamichi already has his secret ready, so it looks like he's going to go ahead and do that.
1 minute left. The The GG boys up 30-59. They have the Rainmaker. Heat Storm coming out, 10 to missile. You see the global view. MT win down 4-2 on the map. Huge swing right here, 9. It was. That Stingray got a pick of it. Etna came and got a second one. This means they're going to control middle going into this final push. They might opt this Stingray as many shots as they can. Just want to go block. That's such a good point. You talk about the tight corner home and MT win getting the splat. It's 2-2 and some Stingray support from Ice. You're going to have time for one more push. 9. MT win trying to keep their tournament hopes alive. Meanwhile, boy just goes away from yet another champion. It is, and again, they're going to try to probably let this reset. And Dynamo going to do whatever he can to just milk more time. He used that special really early and even got the big time. He's going to grab it. He knows he's going down there, but they're keeping the Rainmaker there. 12 seconds left. 3-1 on the field. GG boys. They can spell 3. They want to be repeat champions. They just have to protect the Rainmaker. MT win trying to turn things around. The GG boys get it done. And how about that? There is 0-3 in the face. The defending champion rise from the ashes like a phoenix and go 4-0 in a row. And the GG boys of Japan are Splatoon 2 world champions for 2019. If you want any example of maps could change everything in Splatoon 2, that was the best Rainmaker map that the GG boys could have hoped for. Once they got that first big push that was opened up by a Stingray, a pick here, a pick there, all they had to do was get there, and that's why they got that.
Okay, GG boys won that match. But I'm not gonna lie, US hung in there for a long time. Well, I'm proud of them.
The GG boys, as we mentioned, that last second victory, they win 4 straight. Here they are in the middle. They are victorious. Give it up for the GG boys, your Splatoon 2 World Championship 2019 winners. And just the result from this team, they are now back-to-back champions. Going to see their name twice on the Splatoon Sterling Squid. Just an unbelievable effort as they dug themselves back.
All right, guys, gonna switch real quick over to the Game channel for the Smash Brothers tournament. Be back in a minute.